Cool. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Austin here, and today we are looking at stats for Nocatee, and we're going to compare last year to this year for the month of September. And I actually have a special guest with me today. Scott Adams actually lived in Coastal Oaks, recently moved to Anthem Ridge. Hopefully, the paparazzi don't come to your house after this. And I've invited him on to run through the stats with me and then just talk a little bit about Coastal Oaks and Anthem and Nocatee and his experience there. And yeah, all that kind of good stuff. So let me share my screen here. Oh, here's Scott. Say hey, Scott.
Hey guys.
All right, Scott. Let's quiz you here a little bit. So this is the average sales price for last month. So what we're October now for September, and this is all of Nocatee. And actually cheating a little bit, this has Walden Chase and a couple other neighborhoods in there too, which might bring some averages down a little bit. But last month, the average price of a home was 653,000. What do you think that was a year ago in September?
I don't know. I'd probably say maybe five.
Let's see here. Oh, look at that. So 38% increase from September last year to this year. But maybe they're building bigger, smaller homes. We don't know that. So this is all single family. So let's look at the price per foot. And yeah, right in line with that too, isn't it? 34%. Can you believe that? I guess you did all right though, because you sold your house and were already under contract at the right time. So you
Yeah,
played
I
the
got
market
lucky.
well
Mhm.
this year.
Uh, I'd actually say you timed it well because I
Ha.
was planning on waiting,
Oh, good.
and you
Well, I'm
you
glad it
told me
glad
to
it worked out.
it'd be a good idea to go ahead and buy. So we locked
Yeah,
in
that
before
that did work
the
out. That
lumber
did work
prices
out.
went up.
Cool. All right. Well, let's take a quick peek at the days on market. Everyone wants to know if my house is priced right, about how long should it take to sell? And we're looking at about 19 days, so just shy of 3 weeks for a house to get under contract, which is pretty good. Um, One thing I'm curious about is the percentage list. So let me get rid of last year. So it looks like houses are going for right about what they list for, and that's a little bit different than a couple months prior. We saw, homes were going for 102, 101 and a half, 103% of asking price, which shows that there was some uh, multiple offer situations and bidding, and that seems to have cooled down a little bit. That's my experience as well, especially up in the homes in Nocatee in that like 900 to just over $1 million. They're starting to sit a good bit longer as we're waiting for more buyers to come in and soak up some of this inventory. Um, what are your thoughts on what's happening down there, Scott? You're living right in there.
Yeah, it's hard for me, right? There's so much being built around us, being here in Anthem Ridge, but it seems to me it makes sense. Things cooled a bit because school started, right? People probably don't want to move during school, but I can tell you right before school started, even out here, you're seeing people coming, and even ones that hadn't actually moved in yet, they were saying, "Oh yeah, well, we just bought, or we bought a while ago, and we're going to be ready to close before school." And
Yeah,
really hoping that they would close so the kids could go to the new school.
yeah, I think you
I think
nailed
there's
it
always
on the
that
head.
rush in the summer.
That's what we see just about every year, like July, and then it starts cooling early August because people need time to close. They're not making it in time for our school year starting what usually between the 10th and the 15th, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
And
middle of August.
then towards the end of October, we do see things start to heat up again, typically. But hey, this last couple of years has been a bit of a crapshoot. But
Yeah, I'm sure
Scott,
people
tell
want to
us.
get in for
Sorry.
Christmas. And say people, I'm
Yeah,
sure, want to
yeah.
get in for Christmas and stuff if they're buying pre-built
Yeah,
resale.
100%. Yeah, Thanksgiving, Christmas, home for the holidays, all that good stuff. So where'd you move from when you came down to Nocatee? You've been in Nocatee for a long time, right?
Yeah, I was just talking to someone about that. I want to say like 12 years now.
Oh
Um,
wow.
you know,
OG.
really early. But no, originally I'm from St. Louis, and right before here though, I was in Texas for a little while and lived in Orlando for a little bit before that. But grew up back in the Midwest.
Oh, cool. And what brought you here?
Uh, really, weather to start. Just Florida in general is weather. It's like St. Louis. People think's nice, but the weather is it's really hot or it's really cold. Not a lot of in between. And really, I was in Dallas Fort Worth area of Texas. Same thing. It's just really hot or really cold. And I always wanted to live somewhere that was mostly warm. And in Jacksonville specifically, I like in the Nocatee area because we do have a little bit of seasonality. It's not so just hot all the time, but yet
Yeah,
it
that's a
really
good
never
point.
gets cold.
Yeah.
I don't like the cold. There's tons to do, and yet I lived in Orlando too, and I liked it a lot, but it was a little bit too touristy. So
Mm.
you had tons of tourists all the time. Here, I think you kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you're like we said, you're OG Nocatee. You've been in Nocatee forever. So you've seen a lot of the changes, a lot of the growth. Um, well, just give me your impression of the growth in Nocatee. Are you happy with the way things are coming along?
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Even though we've had such an explosion of growth, there still doesn't seem to be a lot of traffic really. And now we've got, the town center area is more than just Publix. So, for the longest time, it was basically Publix and a few other stores. And you had to drive 20 minutes to get anything.
Yeah,
But
you're right. And
now,
now even just outside Nocatee, having like an Ace Hardware and some of the other things nearby too, uh, you don't really have to go
yeah.
very far to get.
Now, I would say we're there now that you don't have to leave for pretty much everything. Depends on choices, of course, but most everything's
Sure.
here. And then, of course, with the new schools in Pine Island, with that new school, the road opened, which even gives you access basically to Palencia and their amenities, or not amenities, but their stores.
Oh yeah, I was
And
thinking about
everything gets
St.
more there
Augustine,
too.
but yeah,
Yeah.
Palencia has like my favorite sushi restaurants down there. So
Yeah. So now it's instead of having to go, at least from where I live or from like Coastal Oaks, you kind of got to go from the south, go back north, circle around. But now if you go through down by Pine Island Road, it takes away that whole loop you had to do, and it's got to save 10 minutes, pretty
yeah,
easy.
absolutely. Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't even think about the Palencia stuff, but getting to historic St. Augustine, Palencia, you just yeah dip down by Pine Island now, so that's cool. Um, so someone's thinking about moving to Nocatee. What's something that you love about Nocatee that they can't miss?
Yeah, I think it probably depends on the your demographic age group. What if
Good
you have
point.
kids. For me, I moved here when I had young kids, and the water park, and now they've opened a second water park, so all that kind of stuff is great. But then also, I think for any age group, just the amount of green space. It's like, especially if you come from New
Yeah.
York or someplace that is all buildings. We've got trails here that you can either ride your bike, walk, golf cart, whatever you want to do. Kind of get back into nature a little bit.
Cool. And then, is there anything that you'd like to see changed about Nocatee?
I'm not a huge fan of the golf carts.
Okay.
Um, I don't like that people often come and they let their kids drive the golf carts. So this might make some people mad. I'm saying that, but it drives me nuts because it's dangerous. But but no, overall, I think it's really good. I think just as more businesses come into town, I think it'll be even better.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Cool. Hey, and so I mean, gosh, I know you through jujitsu, and you've started and sold and done a whole bunch of. You're always doing some kind of tech business and cybersecurity, and I don't even know what it all is out there. But really intrigued by what you've been doing lately with your financial literacy courses. Would that be a good title for that?
Yeah, really. People often say, what do you do? And one, just in general, and I'm an entrepreneur. But lately, what I'm really passionate about, though, is something we call how money works. It lets us we go into businesses, schools, churches, whatever you want, and teach an hour course of the basics of money. It's things like I know I remember asking you, Austin, what's the rule of 72, and you were the first person ever to actually know that, right?
Woohoo!
Most people don't know it. or just compound interest. You ask somebody what that is, they know. But if they actually sat down and done the math and realized that if you take your Bank of America bank account or whatever, making savings account making 0.001% interest, versus what if you could lock in 7% and actually grow your money and compound it over time. And so we're trying to teach people those kind of things, those skills that you don't teach in school, and also teaching them at businesses, because it's actually a law that the businesses have to teach their employees.
Really?
And generally that's done by the 401k providers,
Okay.
but they don't do it good. They just talk about their product. And we're not talking about products. We're talking about the actual concepts and teaching those things. And, if you need help with products, great. But really, it's all about teaching the people and making sure that everybody has that basic foundation of how
Cool.
money works, so that they can, protect themselves and grow their own wealth.
That makes a lot of sense. Get it? Sense makes a lot of sense. Anyways,
He's a
I'll
realtor.
do you have like a, and you don't have to read it out because I can just link it or whatever, but do you have like a website or something where someone wanted to get a hold of you and or learn more or find out how they could have you come teach a class for their organization or themselves?
Yeah, sure. Real simple. You can go to moneylit.com,
Okay,
and I'll send you the link so you can put it on the screen.
perfect. All right. Hey, Scott, thanks for joining me today. And man, I know that you're enjoying that Toll Brothers home in Anthem Ridge. That's a
Really
really
am.
cool. That was a great lot that you got with park across the street, and your Coastal Oaks house had a park across the street too. So I can see you have a type.
Yeah, I like the idea that there's privacy. Here we even we
Yep,
looked at one lot that was on a lake, but other houses could kind of see into your backyard and everything. And this way, we've got just two houses beside us, but across the street, like you said, a park with a preserve, and behind us is a preserve. So it keeps it
perfect.
quiet.
Yep, love it. All right, Scott, thanks for joining me, and everyone else out there. We will catch you next month when we take a look at the, I guess in this case, Nocatee stats. But we've got all kinds of different. I don't know where you're seeing this right now, but there'll probably be a link to my St. Johns County neighborhood information page. We're going to have more uh, stories like Scott has shared. I don't know which way I'm pointing. This way. Yeah, that looks right on my screen right now. That
I'm below you
Scott
now.
has shared, and so you can learn more about neighborhoods and learn more about what's happening in those neighborhoods in the market stats. But all right, we'll see you guys later.
Hi
Cool.
guys.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Scott.
Austin.